Hello, everyone. Welcome to the workshop at the SBDC. This is very excited. Hi, Cheryl. Um, so this is a time for a lot of great discussion. Hopefully, I can get through with everything in an hour. But I have given this presentation, the pitch prep presentation, a couple of times, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with everybody on the call because I just wanted to make sure that you get the best value possible. So I'm going to start off with giving you a little bit of an overview because some of you have pitched 1,000 times, some of you have pitched only once or not at all. So I just want to make sure we set the bar kind of where we are. I actually texted a bunch of investors yesterday and today to get their number one reason why they would be confident in investing in a company based on a pitch deck. So I got all of their quotes, and we're going to talk about those quotes and saying what kind of equates to what you need to show in your pitch deck. So we'll go through that. Then we will do the 12 pitch deck outline, and then we will do one live kind of feedback on one pitch deck that somebody actually sent to me before. So very exciting about that. Okay, let me start so that we do not run out of time. Let me share really quickly here. Okay. Everybody can see this? Yes? Perfect. Thank you for the nods. I love that whenever I have that. This is the perfect pitch deck, and I really wanted to honor that it's turning your vision into investor confidence. And that confidence is something that you want to increase, right, with investors. So the reality is at this stage, pre-seed seed, that's what I'm assuming most of you are in, is that you're really going off to two people in a power point stage, right? Our pitch deck. And so investors are really underwriting founder quality, market size and timing, asymmetric upside, early signals of pull through the market or pull through your customers, and exit potential. I know it's super early to be talking sometimes about exit, but you have to understand, get into the investor's shoes is the only time they will get a return is when you exit, right? So they are going to invest $10,000, $25,000, $50,000 into your company, and they only see that money in 7 years. So they really want to see what is that exit potential and is it big enough for them to risk their money putting into your company that's illiquid. Their money is now illiquid on their like statements, right? And is this going to be a great journey that they're going to get a return at the end? That's why they ask the exit potential, not to trip you up, not to do anything crazy. It's just that is the reality. So that's why I called this slide the reality. You must decrease risk and increase investor confidence, right? Because investors see pitch decks all the time. Some investors see hundreds a week. Some investors see 10 a week. Some people just see 2 to 3 a week. You don't know who you're kind of coming in front of, but no matter what, they're looking at how do I de-risk this very, very risky asset class, which is angel investing. How do I de-risk a company that doesn't have revenue, doesn't have maybe a lot of signals? They wish they did, but you don't, and you're trying to convince them. And you want to decrease risk that the customers are fickle and markets are volatile, right? So all of that makes sure that they need to know how do I decrease risk? And then how you increase confidence, right, is saying, oh, I have a great relationship with this investor. I'm going to give them a great pitch deck, this ultimate pitch deck, so that they will invest in me. They will give and invest fund money into your company with the confidence that you know how to execute on what you are telling them to do, and you are capital efficient so that you can get to that exit. Okay. So the quality of the team is the most important criterion. If you look at PitchBook, if you look at every other place out there, all the data points to that. So you are not really raising money. You are decreasing risk of this company that you love. You're reducing perceived risk, and your deck is a conviction building narrative, right? So conviction, confidence so that they can get to the next meeting to hear your narrative again, your story again, to go one step further and go into, let's say, a data room and stuff like that. That is what the pitch deck is about. That's why I called it the ultimate pitch deck. Okay. So with that, you've probably seen the 5 M's of investing, and I wanted to go through that. I now am adding about 3 other, so that's a little asterisk of what I usually talk about. Again, I wanted to bring new information um to you as the Brink clients. Is that the typical 5 is management, momentum, model, motivation, and market. Right, that's the 5 that most investors, if they have some kind of rubric or criteria, they're looking at all those. You need to fit these bills. So what does that need to be? That your pitch deck needs to fit this framework, this rubric. Investors will have different kinds of rubrics, but that's how you build your pitch deck. You don't build a pitch deck so that say, I've done great work, I love my product. You need to create a pitch deck that basically goes on top of this framework and make sure that the investors know what they're talking about. Okay. So management, typical, founder market fit, coachability, complementary team. Coachability, a lot of people ask me, how do I showcase coachability? Again, I'm being very particular about the pitch deck in this session. Coachability is really put forward while you're presenting, not necessarily the design, but presenting that your startup. So coachability is like if they ask you a question, you're like, well, if they ask you a question of, is there any competition? You're like, no, there's no competition. We're doing it great. That's showing a little bit of resistance to having a conversation. That's how you can show that coachability is saying, great question. Let me walk through that with you. Momentum, proof of pull, customer pull, market pull, traction signals. There are different types of traction for all kinds of investors. Some really want revenue. Some really are okay with LOIs. That's letters of intent. But that momentum of that product progress, the strategic partnerships that you have, that momentum allows them to be like, okay, they're working through it. One of the things that I know a lot of investors tell me is that when they are told, hey, when I get money, that's when I'm going to give you proof of pull. When I get money, I'm going to go forwards with my product. It should be reversed. It should be, I am working on the product with the capital that they have and the experience that I have to go as far as I can before I need that funding. That's how you can show that momentum. Model. That's the business model. Pretty simple. Also, not bag, it's bad pricing kills good companies. You want to show also scalable revenue, not just one piece of revenue. A lot of times people are like, well, if I'm going to start D2C, how do I showcase in my business model slide that I do? You could go into like just the D2C that's direct to consumer, saying that's my first beachhead. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to go B2B, and I'm going to go licensing. You can do it with color on your pitch deck, but that model needs to be very clearly stated. I see a lot of pitch decks that don't have that business model clearly stated. And next one is motivation. That's really mission and mindset. So you want to showcase vision and resilience, right? How do I show that on a pitch deck, right? It's very hard. That's more presentation. That's Q&A. That's showing what is my vision. If I have a vision that is very forward facing, and my problem statement is very clear in my pitch deck, and I have a clear solution that allows me to tackle this big vision that I have, that's allowing that investor to be like, okay, they're visionary, because that's what investors want to see, this entrepreneur that's like, I'm going to do this. Let's go. Right. And also that they need to be able to be resilient enough to step towards that vision. Right. So that's how you can showcase in a pitch deck, go to market strategy slide, or a timeline type of slide. Next up is market. I did market access as an additional 5 M's, is that the market is really TAM, SAM, SOM logic. Not just that you have it done. I've put it through ChatGPT. It's what's the logic behind why did you pick that TAM, SAM, and SOM? And the SOM needs to equate to the 5-year projection in your finance slide. So that's how slides lock in together. So we're going to talk a lot about what slides lock in so that you have a really good narrative to your pitch deck. Next is market trends. The market trend is super important to say, like, okay, I'm a founder who knows this market. There's great founder market fit. And the trend means that I'm going to capture that trend. That's that market access piece. And can the team actually reach the customers, right? Have customers talk to them? Can they pull through? Moat is the next additional five M's is IP protection, either network effects or data advantage, and also brand defensibility and switching costs. That's more towards, let's say, CPG, consumer product good, or the switching costs of a platform that somebody is using, let's say a CRM in their company, and they need to switch to yours. What is that switching cost for that business? Money is another asterisk. One is valuation and capital strategy. So current valuation, is it reasonable? And also know that valuations fluctuate geographically and within industries. So be current about what is a typical valuation in my market for pre-seed and seed and in the geography that I'm going after. Know those things. And if you don't, okay, people on the line, go meet an advisor at SBDC and ask them, is this reasonable or not before you get to that investor, right? And we can help you through that. Round size logic is, okay, I need to raise $1 million because I'm pre-seed, or I need to raise whatever that is. That logic needs to be clear, right? Because you know your industry really well. Runway length and dilution assumptions are parts of that money piece. And then, of course, metrics is the other thing. Investors are seeing more and more. I am seeing that investors want to see more and more metrics in slide decks, right? So angels look for measurable measurement discipline, right? So maybe you don't have CAC and LTV. That's I lifetime value and acquisition cost, customer acquisition cost. So CAC is customer acquisition costs and lifetime value. There's other metrics that you can also use. I gave you just two to start off with. If you do not have them, that's okay. But what is that measurement discipline that you're putting together? You're saying, okay, I already know that I have 5 customers. They're doing really great. It's taken me this long to get them. All of that information, the angel investors are going to be like, she or he knows how to actually measure that. So also know about conversion rates and consumer behavior. So that's the framework of what that 5M's framework is. And as you know, you don't do a pitch deck based on your story. It's fitting on top of this rubric and then telling the narrative that is authentically you as you're building the company. Okay. With that, I want to move into, I think I have about 8 investor insights. And this again is texting investors yesterday and today. These are real investors in San Diego. We are in San Diego Angel Conference season right now. So I made sure that I asked a couple of STAC investors. So Bobby Edelman said, what gives me confidence? Validated pain, early proof, and founders I trust. Combine that with a realistic capital strategy and a clear economic model, and you've done more than just pitch. You've started to de-risk the venture. That is a line where I begin to see a scalable business. Okay, he is an angel investor, STAC, and new fund investor. And each slide of this that I'm going to go through, I'm going to give you, what does this mean for your pitch deck to build the ultimate pitch deck? Okay, so clear value proposition or problem statement, that those first 2 slides need to be super clear to go after what he wants to see. A clear business model. Usually I'm saying the business model is saying have 2 buckets or 2 squares or 2 circles saying B2B and D2C, whatever that looks like. Be sure that you're clumping everything together. And then de-risking the business by traction, or you could have a traction slide. Experience in the team slide, you can put logos, right, to showcase that you have experience, and other investors. That's on your ask slide, right? So your ask slide, you're going to be like, I'm asking for $1 million. This is my use of funds in a pie chart, and other investors that are in this round. If you can give that information, you list them there. That is that proof. Next up is Naseem Sadyani. She is formerly at Emmeline Ventures, How Women Invest, and also an angel investor. She says, strength of vision, clarity on the opportunity and the solution, and the skills on the team. I have to feel confident the founders understand what they're after, the market trends buoying their growth, and their innate ability to capture it. right? So this is not showcasing just financials, and it's not showcasing just a couple of numbers. You need to like intricately know what you're doing. That's why that clear founder market fit. And if I didn't put my insight, but that is my number one thing that I look for in a pitch deck is founder market fit. How you converse about the in your presentation. How do you know the market? You're not just like pulling numbers. You're like, I intimately know this market. I've conducted 100 customer interviews. I know my customers are going to buy from me, and they already are because I'm already getting some revenue. That's beautiful founder market fit. That's how you describe it in your pitch deck. The right time information can be shown in slide decks of like a timeline or the market slide. You can have Tam Sam Som and say there it the CAGR compounded annual growth rate. That's CAGR, saying, okay, that's an increase in that market. And you can maybe add another number there that says there's an increase in that market. And she cares about market trends, and market size is clearly articulated in that pitch deck. And that's that Tam Sam Som slide. Next up is Priscilla Luckhurst. She's a financial advisor in Edward Jones, but she's an exited business owner and angel investor. She was the fund manager for one of the SDACs. So she knows San Diego really well. So she says, when I'm reviewing a pitch deck, I'm looking for two main things. First is the evidence of growth, and second is consistency. For the evidence of growth, it doesn't always have to be revenue growth, especially in early stage businesses. It can be things like user growth, increasing LOIs, or a simple growing list of interested customers. For consistency, the details matter. Secondly, what you say when pitching must match what is on the slides because that shows that you're focused on details and organized in your business. Okay. So what does this mean to your pitch deck is clear traction slide, right? You have one slide that says your revenue, your LOIs, your customer list, whatever that is, very clearly organized. And organization is super important to a lot of angel investors. Why? Is because of that framework. They're looking at 100 um, um, pitch decks. I mean, they need to have something to compare and contrast. What is on the slide should match what you are saying, right? Whatever you're saying needs to match what is on there, and it's clearly articulated. The investors always go, and anybody reading a pitch deck and a presentation is top left to bottom right. So walk us through that presentation and that narrative. Okay, next up is Sue Baggett. She's from Twin City Angels and Next Wave Impact Fund. She's an impact investor, and she's also very aligned with human-centered innovation, right? So I'm looking for purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are committed to deeply understanding how to create important, life-improving value for the people who they are serving. What does this mean for your pitch deck? If you hear that, you're like, whoa, that's kind of like a little bit more strategic, but that customer discovery and knowledge of market drivers is key. You can have that in the Tam Sam Som slide in your market slide saying, this is the market, and we've actually talked to some customers, or you can have in the traction slide saying, you know what, we truly know that this is going to be valuable to our customers because as soon as we put it live, everybody bought from us. You see how that's a way that you can answer what she's trying to look for. And then clear impact data. You're going to see two impact investor quotes. If you are impact driven, you should have impact data. And how you can showcase that is you can use the UN Sustainable Development Goals if you want to be able to like clearly showcase what that looks like. Okay, next up is Cheryl Goodman. She's here in San Diego, angel investor, former global corporate, oh, spelled wrong, sorry, corporate leader. And she's an AI guru. So founder's history of similar proven innovation, right? So of course that's very tight, right? Of what she's looking for is her number one thing to increase her confidence. So what does this mean for your pitch deck is the team slide should indicate where team has come from, clear logos, not only what you do in your business. And then your partnership go-to-market slide is really great because why you choose the route you did indicates former knowledge, right? So let's say I'll give you an example. A CPG company, right? Consumer product good. It is a new pen, right? And the team has been at a company that produces pens for 20 years, as opposed to a company that has team that has worked in plastic innovation. Okay. So two companies, the same thing. There's the two same pens. Okay. Just bear with me. So this one says like we've been in the pen industry. Their go-to-market strategy would be we know how to move this through the market. We know who to sell to, and we're going to sell to them and we're going to convince them to buy it. These people will say, my go to market is to innovate in this first and then sell to innovation like junkies that they want the new pen. And they probably arrive at the same place as Staples, but they're going to get to it differently because of their experience. That's how you can showcase in your pitch deck the founder history. Okay. That's it. Try to make it as simple as possible to understand that. Okay. Next up is can they clearly, Christina Montague, she is from the Jump Fund. She is also chairwoman of the Angel Capital Association, and she's an angel investor. She said, can they clearly define the problem and the solution that there is a customer base who wants to pay for it? What does this mean for your pitch deck? Clear problem solution slides. Again, that problem solution slide is like two pieces of a puzzle. The problem needs to match the solution. If you've ever met with me, I have the same example all the time. There was a company that was doing something in sustainability space. The company was saying the problem is that there is sargassum sea and there's like plastic. There's not enough plastic recycling across the world, and like the oceans are XYZ, right? Huge problem. And the solution is that it's a one-stop shop for hotels to find plastic, or not plastic, but bamboo sustainable uh, wares, right? Forks and knives and plates. So the problem is actually, she should have reframed it, is that there are tons of hotels that are being asked by their customers to find more sustainable solutions. We have created a solution that does X. We're the one-stop shop. You see how that needs to fit together very clearly. And it could be that she started off saying, we need to change, we need to fix this problem of plastics. I guarantee that's where she started from, but you got to go down the abstraction layers to make sure that the angel investor knows that there's a true fit because of what you are bringing to the market. And the next thing is with this customer base piece is the market large enough and prepared enough at the right time to buy? And that can be the Tam Sam Sam slide. Okay, sorry. Oh, it's asking all sorts of things. Okay, next one is Andrea Geralt. She's an angel investor, corporate global leader. She says, team, number one, do they have the vision on how to translate the idea to the execution team and figure out the capabilities needed, education plus experience? She's an ops like leader and guru. So that's why she's also focused on that executable. So what that means in the pitch deck, clear team slide. Like a lot of times people do not put the clear team slide. I'll add one more thing is because she's asking about execution and the vision to translate the idea. It's, do I have advisors enough to support that vision? So the team slide could be that you could add advisors so that it's a complete global look at who your team is that will drive this forward. And then the clear articulation during the presentation about how the team will execute the vision and execute the plan. It might not be in the pitch deck, but it might be in the presentation. Next up is Aaron Jackson. He had three of them. Clear articulation of the problem being addressed in the way that no one is, very few are interrogating. Number two is absolute commitment to serving the customer. Number three is some clear mission linked to a broader communal social impact. He is also an impact investor. He's an angel investor and wealth manager. So for him, this in the pitch deck, clear social innovation and impact investing angle. And then customer discovery is done. And how you can do that is in the traction slide or the timeline slide, saying the timeline, we've done 100 customer interviews and we know that customer going after it. We've pivoted. We've done it exactly what they need. And the problem solution statement needs to be clear. Next up is Chris Gelnow. She is part of Tidal River Fund. She says her top reason is a solution that solves a real problem by a team with diverse skill sets supported by financials with credible assumptions. I loved how she put in financials, right? So again, what does this mean for your pitch deck? Clear problem that ties to the clear solution. But the second thing is financials are more than hockey sticks. So if you have your financial slide, right, you're going to show your hockey stick. But the investor is going to ask you, what are your assumptions? Why is that hockey stick happening in year 5 or year 4 or year 3? You could add a little bit of information on that side to say, this is why this is happening and this is why this is happening at inflection points, right? So the solid assumptions are super important. I'll give you an example. One time, a founder was pitching to us at what is it? Pipeline Angels, actually, a long time ago, about 10 years ago. And when we asked her, like, what are your financials? Let's go through them. She goes, well, I need to ask my CFO. I'm like, well, do you know any of your assumptions that went into this beautiful financial? She goes, no, I really don't know. But she did know the assumptions. She was just trying to figure out, like, okay, I need to have that expert come on. So we actually worked with her during the session and say, you actually know this. So we walked her through and she did know the assumptions, which was beautiful, but know that the presentation that you have needs to have the financials. And then if you have the Q&A, know your assumptions as a founder. And I think I have like 2 more. Yeah, I have like 2 more. So next up is Riley Jennings. She is an angel investor because she has actually invested in a founder in the last like 6 months. So I loved her perspective is I'd want to find information in there that shows in the pitch deck, shows intense effort or talent. A founder I just invested in is very talented and has a natural magnetism to her without trying. She attracts opportunities without really trying. So same thing goes to most founders. Can they attract opportunities in a magnetic way, or are they a go-getter? Then I look into the cleanliness, design, and brand strength. I think it demonstrates professionalism and an understand of the game if they have a clean, well-designed deck, honestly. Right. So this goes more about the branding and the design. So branding matches the deck design. It all flows. The logo, the deck design, what that all is all flowing very well. The magnetism of the founder presenting is super important. So if you're doing on Zoom, you'll see that for me, I'm front and center. I'm talking to you, right? And that's that magnetism. Make sure that you understand like that comes through even on a screen. And then if you're on stage, it all definitely comes through. And then that thought and professionalism of design and going the abstraction layers of trying to make sure that I'm not just doing a list of benefits of my product. I've actually thought about it and I have gone down layers of abstraction to make sure that it's distilled to like 3 things that are the top things for my customers. Not all the things that are important to my customers. It's what are the top 5 that are important to them. Okay. Next up is Rose Bolas. She's an investor at San Diego Angel Conference and also started Angels in the Law. So for her is less is more. Busy decks have me torn between reading and listening to the presenter. Keywords and phrases win with me. If I'm intrigued, I'll ask to go deeper. So again, clear design, that's what it means on your pitch deck. Less words, more icons, layers of abstraction, and get to the next meeting is super important. It's not that narrative that we talked about at the very beginning. That narrative needs to get you to that next meeting. I like how she says key words and phrases because she actually runs an angel group. This is Angels in the Law. So she cares about syndication. She cares about sharing the pitch deck that she's looking at to somebody else. So that is why it's important to have key phrases in there that allows for an investor to glomp onto and that they can share with others. Okay. And I think that's it for that. Let me go then now. Anybody have any questions about this first part of it? And then I'm going to go into the ultimate pitch deck. Yeah,
Got a
sure.
quick question on your last point, Sylvia. Incredible, by the way. Would you recommend having 2 pitch decks, one to send and one to present, so that there are fewer words on the slides?
Yeah, I do recommend that when it's called a send ahead deck versus one that you present. The send ahead actually you have to have it's more of like you're going to put a little bit more information on the deck because they're reading it, right? They're having to read it without you being there. And then the one that you present has a little bit less text so that when they're listening to you and they're not reading. Does that make sense? Yes?
Sorry, I muted. Yes, yes,
Okay,
that's
good,
what I
good.
thought.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, like also you can also have you're gonna have a pitch deck of 3 minutes and 10 minutes and 2 minutes and all the things because you want to be prepared at all times to be able to talk to investors and know what they needed to they need different things, so you want to be prepared. Okay. Let me go and do the ultimate pitch deck. This is also covered in a video that is on the SBDC YouTube channel. So I'm not going to go in huge depth in it. And I know it so well that I've already kind of covered it a little bit in what I talked about already. And we also want to get to the example pitch deck. And actually, Cheryl's sent me her pitch deck to have an example. So we'll want to get to that. Okay, so this is the top 12 slides that a typical pitch deck has. This is towards like a 10-minute pitch deck. It could be a 5. I think that did I do that? No. I have another one that I zero out some of the things that are zeroed out for a 5-minute pitch. But with this I always tell entrepreneurs that are trying to get in front of investors, do a pitch deck of these 12, so that you have enough that you can get down to a 3-minute, you can get down to a 2-minute, and you know what are your main salient points of your company that when you go past like problem, solution, market, business model, you might not need to do competition in a 2 or 3 minute or a go-to-market strategy, but you need to have team, you need to have financials, and you need to have your ask, right? So you have to see like what is important. And if you are pitching in front of investors, if they are an impact investment group, you should add things about impact. And if they are more tech, maybe go one more step in the solution slide, this one, right? So again, this is available to you to actually take and edit it if you want. It is available to take and edit, and also this is all covered in another video. But this is a disclaimer is that I'm not a designer. I did this on Google Drive, so you can do it on a cheapy budget. This is actually a pitch deck of a company that we at Ad Astra invested in, and this was her version 42. So it's a lot, right? So this is the ultimate pitch deck, let's say template. Your first one is Fun Fab Fit AI, gorgeous startup, always pitching, always in control. I created the logo with, I think it was just like a dollar on Fiverr, or even a logo maker. So I did that, but I made sure that the colors and all that were calm, that the calmness is important for like a tech company, and then it has edges. If let's say I was a like a femtech company, I might have done more like curves, right? Instead of edges. So you decide on the logo, but the logo defines what you do. So next. So I know this is over indexing on design, which I would not recommend to have these horrible looking things, but it's more of like aligning to the logo that you have. The problem, something very easy to understand. The solution is something that you're creating, and then a definition of what it is, an enterprise software platform. A lot of companies don't do that. They're like, and go into like the benefits right away. And you're like, no, 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 what is actually the solution? And then I broke down the product slides into the value prop, saying confidence, control, and clarity are the 3 things that are the value prop. And what the product does is real-time tracking, customizable inputs, and super user dashboard. So I gave you screenshots of the product, right? Some investors don't like screenshots. I like screenshots, but they have to be clear, right? It has to be big enough for me to see it, or that you're walking me through what this looks like. A lot of times when you have like an app, you have like 3 phone cases and showcasing what it is that I'm walking us through. Don't go all of the screenshots, the ones that are the most important for you to tell the narrative, right? So this is just the screenshots. I gave you two examples of, I think the market, I think another one. Yeah, I did a couple of them. So, this is called a dirty slide. Was used by one of my portfolio companies to say, I have a $10 billion market, right? She did this all the time whenever she was pitching because she wanted people to recognize that. But then the market size like this is just the TAM, SAM, SOM, having definitions of what these things are. Um, Typically you're seeing it something like this, right? Is more a circle, really pretty, and stuff like that. But I like it to have some kind of definition of what the TAM SAM SOM is. This is the compounded annual growth rate that I was talking about before. Some people have asked me, how do I do it if like a Venn diagram of awesomeness, right? And this is one way of doing it. I've seen a Venn diagram of 5 circles. It's up to you how you want to do your narrative, but I gave you those optionality. Then the business model, I'm over indexing for clarity because really this is a software company. And typically a software company, I see a bunch of bullets and then I don't even know where there are. And there's like, like 5 things that are down from the plus um, subscription model. But this is very easy. It's Fun Fab Fit Plus, Fun Fab Fit Pro, and Fun Fab Fit Enterprise. Usually a business is not as easy as this, but try to like distill it down so that an investor can say, oh, okay, 1, 2, 3, there's an enterprise and then there's a software. Okay, interesting. Enterprise means that you're probably going after larger businesses. This plus and pro means smaller businesses. Okay, interesting. They're going after 2 customer segments. That's what I would be reading from this, right? Competitive landscape can be done in 2 ways. I know that, let's say, Misty Kane, who's the lead of Techstars, does not like a competitive landscape in a pitch deck. Just know who you're talking to. But the typical is this one or something like this, XY axis, right? So I'm sorry. Typically, it's shown like this that, 4 or 5 features on the left-hand side that you do very, very well and everybody else doesn't do as good, right? So known small company, cool bigger company, and then let's say somebody that everybody knows, Dropbox. What do they do? What do they don't do? Same thing here is always, always, always your company is on the top right. And this allows you to distill a little bit more of cost and clarity. Those are the 2 things that you're evaluating in this XY. So that's kind of bringing down the this list right here. Sorry, this list right here to only 2. These features here. So just kind of giving you that example. And then I usually like to use logos because it's just easier to capture what that is. I sometimes use design to help me is that I make the known smaller companies smaller and I like bucket them all together. So it's like these little points and then there's these big companies. So you can use volume on this to showcase that. Then a timeline of any sorts is good. Company status and goals. There's customer, satisfied customers. I see this as like sometimes testimonials or something like that. So that's this type of slide. And then markets. This one company was going after banks. And in this, she started off with this slide was probably, I don't even know, like 25 lines of text. And we brought it down to 4 so she could talk about it. So your question, Cheryl, before is that maybe in a send ahead community banks, it might be like 2 logos of the possible banks that you're going after. And if you don't have those, just like maybe 2 bullets here, 2 bullets here, 2 bullets here, 2 bullets here in the send ahead. And in the presentation, you can just walk them through it. Expanded market are all these things. That's like that expansion, that growth in the next like 5 to 10 years. And then the team, of course, I'm over indexing again on the design, but very clearly 2 co-founders, and this is where they're coming from. That goes back to the investor who cares about experience. Have the logos there, what you are, and then this is the team and advisors. I get a lot of questions about how do I say full-time versus like part-time. You can put it down here. Team is full-time employees with stock options. with 50 plus years of a combined experience. With these advisors, I basically just put their logos in the bottom right to showcase that this is who they're coming from. Traction can be done in a couple different ways. This is a very early stage company, so they don't have traction of revenue, but they have won a couple of things, right? You can do that for some investors. It doesn't matter to them what you've won. They want to see revenue. So just, but again, this over indexes also on groupings, right? How do I group things? How do I discuss this so that the investor can grab it easily and move on to the next slide? Financials, as I said here too, is that if you have some kind of text that showcases what these financials are, that would be fantastic. Fundraising, my favorite slide. So this is your ask slide. You have use of funds on the right-hand side. A pie chart is like the easiest, nicest way to do it. What are you doing? Series A, pre-seed, seed, 3 million you're raising. What is it? Convertible note or a safe? And this part here, the 50% committed by, is I talked about this at the very beginning, is that if you do have investors that have invested in you or that have soft circled or hard circled, and if they're willing to put it on your deck, you can kind of add them, because let's say Crescent Ridge is a sister or VC of Ad Astra Ventures. So if we were looking at this, we would say, okay, we're going to go in because Crescent Ridge is there. As a Latina, investor myself, if I see Latitude, I know that that founder is Latino, a founder. So that's important. Techstars means that they took 5% of the company, right? So I can really understand a lot about the company just because you're giving me some information here. And then this is the end of this. And then I have an appendix of an executive summary that I recommend for everybody to have something like this, that is the summary of what I've kind of walked you through. Not that you're going to showcase it maybe, but a send ahead is really nice to have this at the end. And sometimes people put it at the very beginning while they're coming up on stage. It just depends. You just have it there so that investors have an easier way to understand at the very end. Yes, I will invest in this because all of these things. I flew through that, but again, there are other let's see, videos out there that I explain it a lot more, and you are able to get this slide deck and actually copy it and edit it if you want. And so that's easy. We'll make sure that you guys get that. And then any questions before I go on to the last one to evaluate Cheryl's slide deck? Questions? Comments? Questions? No? Okay. I'm going to move on then. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, wait, no, not that. I want it here. Okay. So this is Cheryl's pitch deck. Cheryl, do you want to walk through it? I don't think we're going to have time for that. Do you want me to just evaluate it? You enter full screen.
I would love to hear you just go through it, because that way
Okay.
I'm understanding if you're
Thought process.
getting the business, yeah, from the pitch deck.
Perfect. And my screen says it's paused. Are you seeing this?
Yeah,
Okay. And if I go forwards, you can see it?
yeah. And this is the one I just sent you, right? Yes.
I think so. I just pulled it from the email.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Let me just make sure with this one.
If
Okay.
not,
And
I can pull up the PowerPoint if you want me to go through
no,
that.
I'm good. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Oh, now it says you are screen sharing. Yeah. It just says paused before. So I just want to make sure. I'll go through and walk through what I'm thinking. Of course, I know Cheryl, so I know the company really well. So I'm a little biased of like, I already know this information, but I'm going to come to it as if I don't know this. And again, Cheryl wants an investor like me to what? Is increase my confidence in investing in her and to decrease risk, right? My risk of investing in her. So first and foremost, I know immediately that it's an app or something on my phone. That means it's mobile. That's great. Human-centered performance and change integration, and making organizational change stick with empathy-enabled AI. Okay, it's an AI company. And I know it's an app of some sort. right? So with that, what we do very easily, Parsley 360 integrates culture, change, and performance. Great. That's where I kind of would stop and I would look at everything else. Okay, for leaders, for employers, that means that like, okay, 70% rate, really great. I would say that you have that in bold, this right here. It's nice to have it in bold because I see that immediately. And for other people, you could have it in bold or you could put it like as um um like numbers in like another color if you want to do something like little like squares or circles. So you can do that. This is great. I like the bold. I would recommend the bold. So that's good. Next up is the problem. Okay, organizations invest heavily in change, but lack of reinforcement, visibility, and trust. There's these three elements right here. Um, the gray is a little bit for me like
I don't know why it came out like that. It didn't show up like that for me. It was really faint. So apologies. I'm
yeah, no,
going to
no
fix
problem.
that.
But like that's something to it's like no, sometimes whenever you're doing like translucent stuff in the background, just check it, when and I know you checked it. You're really good at that. But great. So change fails to stick, that's 70%. There's like a gap. I love that there's somebody falling. That's great. And then an eye being like sliced. So then I would be okay, change fails to stick. I got that. Culture gaps persistent, root causes remain hidden. Great. Like I understand that. That's really great. You're showcasing also your the sources down here and I'm still seeing the logo, right? I like that I'm still seeing it because sometimes investors have like 4 or 5 pitch decks on their computer and if they don't see your logo, they don't know what company they're looking at. So I like that it's here just for you guys to know. Okay. Next up, the founders, great. What I would do is add logos to where you both came from instead of just the text part because it's just easier to capture, right? Logos. So that's what I would change on this full-time partnership since 2023. I like that you guys have been around for a while. That's something I don't typically see, which I actually like because that's typically what I hear from presentations, like when you're presenting. So I like it. It's right there clear. That very, very well done on that. Love that. Okay. Solution, an AI enabled platform. Great job. Thank you. It's so nice whenever I see that. It's like, okay, a platform that integrates culture, change, and performance through continuous monitoring and in the moment course correction. Perfect. So insights plus continuous monitoring plus change integration equals, oh, that's for leaders, and employees on demand coaching. Love that. Um, and I think that, are you going to give me an example? Okay, so now I see the product. Great. I see that it's mobile and also um, can be on a computer. So that's great. That means that you're selling to companies when I see something like this. I like that. Delivers private in the moment behavior support. Love it. Enables leaders to reinforce change and performance. Let me see something. Next one. Okay. Um, I think the only thing that I would do different is that this is benefits, right? These are all like benefit. Let me just see. Solution, blah, real-time visibility, intermerging. Okay, this yes. I was trying to see like, did I miss something? So I liked this um screenshot here at the very beginning was bigger. Um, I would have liked to have seen like what are these things? What does it actually look like? And then go into the behaviors, like the benefits, sorry, not the behaviors, but benefits that are here.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Next up. Okay, I love this enabled AI architecture, great use of words, secure plus private plus sustainable at the very bottom. I like that. Um, yeah, I love that. Okay. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm going down the screen. Look here. Market. Yes, so nice and clear. So good. And I like it because I can really understand this. It's a spend. It's in dollars, billions, global spend. Love that. These are the reasons where they're spending. Love it. North America plus United Kingdom. Great. And then 1% of Sam. Perfect. Yep. I love that. Very clear. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, business model, great B2B SaaS platform. Love it. That's wonderful. Easy to understand, 285, premium, yes, wonderful, 95, 135, great. Premium, perfect. Tiered pricing, wonderful. Land and expand model aligned to adoption and role-based value. I love it. It's great. It's very clear. If an investor like has questions about, oh, why are you doing it at 285? That's a great question to have instead of like, well, what is your price? So I always like it whenever slide decks give me enough information to ask a a good question to that founder, right? Instead of I call it throwaway questions, don't have any throwaway questions, right? Of like, what is your pricing? So yeah, so very clear. I love it. Very nice financial projections. I can clearly see where you're going. Companies and seats, love it. Like this is great. Love it. It's very clear to see. I know why this is going up because I'm seeing 52 to 178. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Roadmap, great. Phase one, phase two. Wonderful aspects of that. Yeah, I love it. It's so great. It's easy. It's easy. If I wanted to like see it and really read it, I would. But right now, if I'm like running through this deck, I'd be like, okay, great. They have a roadmap and it seems good, you know?
Mhm.
Um, Go to market direct, strategic partnerships, thought leadership in the media, multi-channel approach. These are the ones that you're going after. I love it. This is great. Very clear. Very, very, very clear. Um, Wonderful. Competitive landscape is this. Okay. So these are, I would say, like I don't know, like all of these are competitors. You are over here, and this is oh, you're labeling it like this. Like this is all of these guys,
Yeah,
and these.
those are human led. They were not AI native. So they're starting to integrate AI into what they've already done.
Okay,
They're human led, and
okay,
we're an AI native.
enabled. Okay, it's not necessarily as clear to me as it could be. So either like get them all into a box, like you have them down here. I can say box here is this, box here is this, right? So that would be just something that I would change. Okay, next is our vision. Wonderful, very clear. And this also, you're very clear on this because of your expertise and your background. So I like that you integrated this. Sometimes, like some founders don't want to do that, and that's fine, right? I just think for you in your background, this makes complete sense. I like it. Ask, okay? 12-month run, pre-revenue, founder funded. I love it. One thing you can do here is if you our guys are willing to put how much has been funded would be great, right? You don't have to say founder funded equals this, but like what was the friends and family round to be able to get this going could be something to add. You don't have to. That's just like a nice to have. I
Mhm.
like the milestones that's what you're going to be getting towards based on the use of funds.
Mhm.
Very clear here. Operations, product development, very clear. Um, the only thing that's here is like, I don't know if it's a safe or convertible note, but that's something I can ask you. You
Mhm.
don't have to put it on here. Okay, we're like 4 minutes. Let's go. One more time. Yes, and thank you. You have clear, thank you, your name, email. I know exactly where to contact you. And again, this is very nice that it's big right here. I love it.
If you keep going, Sylvia,
Okay.
I had an
Okay, this is
email that
nice. Okay.
asked me to put just our founders right up front. She
Oh,
wanted
up front.
on
Okay,
the
yeah.
third. So I put our whole team in the back just because we have,
I love it.
I don't know if I put the board slide, but we have a board
Yeah,
too.
you did. Yeah, it's right here.
But yeah.
Yeah, I like these types. Again, you bring up a really good point is that there are some people that want you to have this done a certain way, and that's fine. You're going to learn what people like as you go. So great. I love it. Great job. I'm going to stop sharing here. And it is 56. I made it. I cannot believe it. Thank you, Cheryl, for being vulnerable and authentic and giving me the deck before. And Yeah, no, it's been awesome working with you so long. So, okay, any questions off the bat in like the last 4 minutes that we have?
I have one question.
Yes.
So for a company that's pre-seed, and I'll turn my video on,
Yeah.
how acceptable is it to showcase your product of where you are today to where you want to take it?
Are you saying product or like business model? Like what are you asking about?
Actual product. So like mine's also an app or a
Okay.
platform, B2B SaaS. And today we have this tiny, tiny use case for all that I could afford to
Yeah.
develop. But obviously the idea is huge. Like how would you kind of showcase that journey?
Yeah, it all depends on how it looks like right now, right? Because if it is kind of like you are, I've seen ones that showcase like squares and like text that they've kind of put together, and it's not even like you can go to Lovable and make it in like 2 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could do that. So going back to one of the investors said it needs to have a congruence between what's on the slide and what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've also seen people like, we have built out the app and we're on the app store and we're amazing, right? And their app is not that. So just make sure it's congruent. Like we
Mm-hmm.
are early. We have this one MVP, right? The MVP looks like this if you want to share it. And we want to take it to this this level with the
Mm-hmm.
funding that we obtain. So
Okay.
it just depends on how where that is that MVP is. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the other piece of it is that congruence. Is like we are MVP and it looks like this. I'm like, okay, great. It's an MVP. I love what it looks like. I
Mm-hmm.
can see that vision. If you say MVP, like you saying I have a prototype and it's out in the app store and I'm trying to download it and I can't,
Mm-hmm.
that's like trust whoo, way down for
Mm-hmm.
investors. And then I think the last thing would be that oh yeah, if somebody's like, oh, I don't have any money to do XYZ, um, you can build it on Lovable. So right now with AI, there's a little bit of testing a little bit of that. Um, and making sure that you have maybe built an MVP with however way you can.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know Lovable, I love Lovable and I can
Mm-hmm.
build something for you with you. So
Okay.
just let me know. But it's pretty easy. The one of the pitch nights that we had at USD with Pankaj, we were able to build something actually on demand for somebody in the audience with just her pitch deck. We uploaded her pitch deck
Mm-hmm.
um, to not Lovable, but Replit,
Mm-hmm.
and uploaded her pitch deck and said, build an MVP for this. And it did it within like 3 minutes.
Yep.
And it
Yeah.
looked similar to theirs. So just there's a lot of pieces of it, but
Yeah.
your vision and your like narrative of we're going to get here, that's what investors be like, yes, she's going to be able to execute. She's done as much as she could. That's fantastic. And you're showing resilience.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, we're out of time now. Thank you so much for coming today. Hopefully this was great. I'm going to thank all my investors to have who texted me in the last 2 days about what was important to them. Hopefully that gave you an idea of what people are looking at right now. So thanks for joining us. The Brink SBDC is fantastico, and it's led by Benton Moore and Stephen and all of us advisors. We're here to support you and serve you. So connect with us, and we're here to support you. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.